I think it's time to talk about our favorite subject again, and that's when alt season. Now, when can we really expect it, and what can we really expect? The thing is, though, that a lot of people expected it to happen earlier, and that might just be the one and only reason why it didn't happen yet, right? We needed the disbelief. And I think we had our disbelief. The tariffs came in, Trump did its Trump thing, and everybody was scared. And now is the moment where we see that altcoins, and I'm not talking about real low cap shitcoins, but some actual higher cap utility altcoins like Aerodrome, for example, right? The leading DEX on base is just already up 2.5x from the lows, right? And we talked about the fact earlier, like, hey, if it from this price right here can have a weekly candle of 40%, right? From 150 to 230, like it's nothing in a week, then how hard could it be to push a price at 28 cents? Well, that easy, right? And the cool thing is, it's not an alt season yet, right? It's not a alt season. It's not a big reversal. It's not great news out there. It's not the stop of QT. It's nothing. It's just liquidity got drained, right? And it was a little exaggerated, right? And there was too much FUD. It was too oversold. And now you'll see, like, it takes literally nothing to pump these coins with a 2.5x, right? They're just following Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just like, Bitcoin is going up, right? And that's it. Now, what the funny thing is, these are the moments where you should believe in that. Now, look at this. The low in the altcoin market, right, was at April 7. And at April 7, I made this. Guys, this is it. This is the moment. This is it. Really. My first order, my first big buy order got hit, right? At 75K. Great moment to buy. And I don't make this to be like, you see. But the funny thing that I notice about this is that if I now make a video where I'm bullish, I get positive comments and I appreciate that. But when I was making videos back then, I got a lot of these comments where people say every day is the best day to buy, and it never retested $38,000. But also, it's all fine, but I don't see where the liquidity has to come from. I thought it was different, etc., but it's not. And somebody even asked, like, hey, my ETH liquidation is at $900, and he started to sweat a little bit, right? And do not listen to this, right? Why would you listen if somebody is bullish at lows, right? Like, let's not do that. And it's over. Eric Crown said so. You don't know if we're going to zero. And it got really out of control. Somebody even said Crypto Bento was right. Now, then like, whoa, sentiment is fucked. Right, like, it's crazy. Crypto Bento was saying no alt season a long time ago. Yada yada yada. To be fair, Crypto Benter has been calling for an alt season all the way down. And now that we are down, they are saying no alt season. And there are just a lot of influencers getting brainwashed by what the market is doing, let alone the people that see the market and look at these influencers, right? All in all, the thing in crypto, seriously, just what you want to do is almost ignore everything. Just look like, hey, where in the cycle are we? And if it turns out that it's not a bear market, then just buy whenever there is some real liquidation event happening. That's always the best place to buy, right? And now you'll notice, like said, like with Aerodrome, like, is it here? No, definitely not, right? But if you bought somewhere down here below, then you would have lowered your average entry so much, and you would be in such a profit on this trade already, and your average entry now will be sitting quite decent, right? So whenever alt season does occur, you are way faster in profits than the people who here said, like, it's not gonna happen. Their average entry is still somewhere here. They need half an alt season to play even on their initials, right? At the end of the day, it's player versus player. And you need to win this game. right? We need to win this game. So welcome, long fucking intro, to the FOMO Factory. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. Let's get into it. So what I'm looking at right now. First, I want to, get a little feeling like, hey, how is the market doing? And at the moment, we see some alts. Beam is up 20% on the day, right? And of course, I don't want to come out at the day like, hey, it's green for once, let's celebrate. But again, you do notice that from the moment where the buying opportunity was pretty obvious, a lot of higher cap coins are already up 2x, 2.5x, right? Not all of them, some are, right? That was the easiest moment to buy, actually. And I'm not saying that in hindsight. I said it back then as well, because there's so much confirmation in the market while prices are low. That's where you want to buy, right? I'm not saying that it's too late right now. There are still a lot of coins on a good discount, but you see, and that's the cool thing about this, how certain altcoins already move up like something really, positive is going on, or when we see a pretty decent altcoin reversal, right? While in reality, that's definitely not what's happening. Again, we just have Bitcoin bouncing off of a low, right? Which it needed to retest because that area was resistance basically complete 2024, right? And we broke above it and now we retested it and it showed like, okay, that was the retest, right? This is not somewhat of a dead cat bounce or whatever. This is a falling wedge that it's been in for months and it broke out and now it looks like it's at least attempting to break this horizontal as well. And, so far so good. Who knows what happens on the short term? I still expect a decent pullback in the short term, but let's find out. But again, these alts are also responding pretty well, right? Again, simply because just the liquidity got drained, and there are a lot of good or popular or whatever altcoins out there that just got oversold, right? Chain GPT as well. 5.5 cents was just too cheap for this altcoin. And now you'll see it's 2.5x up from that price, while we do not have any form of an alt season whatsoever. And that's so cool about it, right? Because again, an alt season is where altcoins outperform Bitcoin. So there's the altcoin market against Bitcoin. Yeah, it's pretty clear that we don't have an alt season right here, right? This has been just going down. And if altcoins already 2.5x while this is going down, I have pretty high hopes for these alts whenever this goes up. Now, that's just what I wanted to mention first, because I do think it's important to know that, some alts can already 2.5x while the bigger markets are not even in their favor yet. So let alone once that happens, it will be fucking crazy. It will really be fucking crazy. I don't know if there are some OGs. Let me know down below since when you entered crypto. But if you were in an alt season before, then you know what I mean, right? Then you'll know how freaking unrealistic it could get. If you haven't been there, then then it's hard to imagine, because it can get out of control. It can get unrealistic, right? I'm not saying it will, but so far it always did, right? Now, again, we're seeing a little relief. Bitcoin is back at mid-90s. Ethereum is bouncing off of its low on its Bitcoin pair, but this is something that you can barely call this, green. The dollar is bouncing like this is what I meant before. The dollar was so weak, right? And now it's starting to recover a little bit, but it's still extremely weak. And you already see how some alts do very well, right? Now we have the Bitcoin dominance, which is by no means going down yet, right? Let alone if this goes down. So alt season has nothing really to do with money flowing into the market. What happens right now is money flowing into the market, right? People, they sold. They were scared of tariffs, which they should not been have. They sold. It got oversold. It was like too much panic, completely overreacted in my opinion. And now you'll see that the total crypto market is up already 27% from the lows. You might feel like, well, 27%, it's a $3 trillion market, right? 27% is a lot of money. It's really a lot of money, man. Crazy. So therefore, you see Bitcoin going up, you see altcoins going up. That's nice, but it's just some money returning into the crypto market. What if I tell you that money printing could happen as well, right? Then this will go up even more, right? But what if I tell you if that could happen combined with the fact that people put their money from Bitcoin into altcoins? Then you might now look at this and be like, oh, I missed out. Yeah, if you realize where something like this could go, then I think you won't be mad at yourself for buying here as well. Like it's insane, right? Again, I'm not predicting anything. I don't know, but based on what's likely and what happened so far, we should keep in mind that this is possible again, right? Now, again, Fed meeting next week. Could be that they end QT. If they end QT, then like if you need another reason at this point to stop being bullish on the Bitcoin dominance, then that will be your last reason, right? That's all you need. But I would say, let's talk about alt season, man. Let's talk about it, right? It is going to happen and it's going to get completely crazy. So how do altcoins really go up hard, right? Money flowing into altcoins, of course, right? Now they can flow into altcoins from different places. They can flow into altcoins from the current stable coin supply, right? The stable market. This is a stable market. USDC and USDT, the two biggest, they make up for 7% of the total crypto market, right? That's a lot. Now, this is if you ask me if this was a coin and I would trade it, I would say, so far this is the range, like long here, short here, right? And the short is playing out perfectly. Is there a chance that it gets here? Definitely, right? I mean, that's the range. Like that's even most likely. Is there a chance that it gets, I don't know, somewhere to the mid range and then bounces? Could also be. Is there a chance that we break this and the crypto market completely moons? Also likely, right? But the most likely scenario is that a range keeps ranging, right? Until the point that it doesn't. Now, the last and only two times this market where this happened, what happened to the altcoin market? Well, let's overlay the altcoin market, right? Because again, if you look at this chart, it doesn't look weird to you, right? That it could go here again, right? I assume that it doesn't look weird to you at least, right? So if that happens, what happens to the altcoin market? Well, the last time it happened was here. So the altcoin market basically had its run from the bear market lows until that first stop that we saw in the altcoin market. The second time and the last time it happened was the second run for the altcoin market, where it went into that kind of euphoria stage for a while from August 2024 until December 2024, right? Where a lot of altcoins did quite well, right? These were the only two legs that the altcoin market has seen so far. That's what happened so far, right? And we are approaching that level again and again. Would it be a straight line down? Probably not, right? Like that's usually not how it works, although this pretty much was, right? But that's purely money that goes from two stable coins into the altcoin market. That's it, right? I'm not talking about the Bitcoin dominance going down. I'm not talking about money printing, right? I'm purely talking about the current money in the stable market that's already here, right? So nothing unrealistic. The money is here. It just needs to be deployed, right? That's it. Cool. Well, the higher the market goes, the more FOMO retail gets, the more they deploy. So at a certain point, like here you saw it as well, we had a big lag down, right, in the USDT dominance. And the weeks after, people felt like, oh, fuck FOMO, buy, right? And again, the stochastic RSI is also pointing, more confirmation we don't need. It's pointing to the downside. Last time that happened was during that run up in the altcoin markets, right? So that's purely stable deployment, basically. Then again, we have new money flowing into the market, and again, that would likely be a very big boost if we get QT to stop, right? If we look at the Fed balance sheet, it's still going down. They slowed it a lot last month. They slowed it down really a lot, but they also hinted like, hey, it might stop end or halfway of 2025. Well, it's May, could be halfway, right? Could be June, could be July, but that period doesn't have to happen this month for me. Like, it's not that it doesn't happen that I feel like, oh fuck, like then we always have a month later, right? But that would suggest alt season so far, right? Because if you look at alt season, the chart alt season, right? That's this one over here. And you overlay the Fed balance sheet, you'll see that it's super correlated, right? Every time QT starts, alt season stops. QT starts, alt season stops, right? No QT, no QE, perfect alt season. Here we have QE, perfect alt season, right? I mean, right? So that's pretty hopeful. And it happens to be around the time frame where the stochastic RSI is pointing to the upside, right? Maybe a coincidence, I don't know. But so far, we'll know, and we talked about that lately a lot, that the stochastic RSI on the weekly is a pretty good indicator. You can see it by the USDT dominance pointing down, and it's going down. You can see it by the altcoin market on the dollar pair. It's here pointing up right now. Upload in a second. But here it now goes up. We see it on the Bitcoin. Here we go. See it on the Bitcoin. It applies everywhere, right? So we can also see that on the alt season chart, right? Apart from that, and this is what I've showed a couple times already as well, but oh man, I think that this is so super crazy to look at. The Bitcoin dominance, right? We talk about Bitcoin dominance, and basically this chart is Bitcoin dominance, but the real dominance, Bitcoin against altcoins, not including stable coins, right? But reversed, basically, right? That's this chart. So we need the Bitcoin dominance to go down. When does a chart go down according to Benjamin Cowen's indicator, the risk levels? When the risk levels are really high, like 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, sometimes 1. Where's the Bitcoin dominance sitting? It's sitting at freaking 0.928, right? Just for your perspective, the last time the Bitcoin dominance crashed and we went into an alt season, it's where the Bitcoin dominance was sitting at 0.906. That was flashing enough to bring us into a sick ass alt season. And the alt season in 2017, we had enough of a risk of 0.771 or whatever, right? So when it comes to this is also saying like, hey, everything we see, I confirm. Thank you, risk level. Great, right? So that's more the outperformance of altcoins against Bitcoin. Now, it basically just means altcoins are doing better than Bitcoin. So what could it mean? It could be that there's new money coming into the market, but that money is going into alts instead of Bitcoin. That's a great run, right? Because that's also where you can see Bitcoin going up. And if we take one example, for example, if we look at, AVAX, for example, on its Bitcoin pair, right? There's AVAX on its Bitcoin pair. So here, AVAX is doing fantastic against Bitcoin, right? Yeah. If Bitcoin goes down, then AVAX is still a fantastic buy. Just later buy more Bitcoin with it, no problem. But what happened here, for example, here you see that if you overlay Bitcoin, Bitcoin was also going up in that period. So you can only imagine how crazy it was for AVAX and whatever, insert any altcoin back in that time, right? What could also be the case is that people at a certain point feel like, Bitcoin back at around 100K or above 150, whatever it might be, right? And they feel like, man, I don't know what the upside is here. But I do know that altcoins on their Bitcoin pair are cheap as fuck and they are quality and it's getting adopted everywhere and it has the hype and whatever. Let me take my money out of Bitcoin and put it into alts. You have to realize what a crazy, crazy explosion that would give. And this is not hypothetical or anything. This happened every single time. This is part of the market cycle, money flow, right? To start with something else, this is others divided by total 3 minus others. In other words, these are the low caps within the top 125 against the top 10 altcoins minus Bitcoin and ETH, right? So what you'll see right here is that the low caps just started to, they were getting wrecked against high caps, but they were in a falling wedge for half a year and they now broke out. Yeah, I mean, the Bitcoin breakout from the falling wedge, this falling wedge was shorter, but this breakout is already pretty big. Can you imagine what this is going to end up like? Right? So what this basically means is that people they look at their XRP, for example, right? And they be like, it's 220. Maybe it can go to $3. Maybe four if it all gets really crazy, but maybe not, right? Let me take more risk. I want to get more gains, so let me put my XRP into I don't know, whatever, pancake swap, right? What you have to notice is that pancake swap has a market cap of, let's say, $600 million, but XRP has a market cap of $130 billion, right? What does that mean? That means that people, they only have to take 0.5% out of XRP in order to pump cake 2x, right? Not so it takes 0.5% of a somewhat high cap coin to pump another also pretty high cap coin 2x. Can you imagine what happens if people actually take a good amount of percentages out of Bitcoin and put it in real low caps? Like, then 2x's are bearish, right? That's FUD. That's FUD, right? And that's all part of the money flow, right? It's what we saw here as well. High caps, they were outperforming low caps. Low caps got wrecked, right, against the high caps. And then what happened? Here they started to outperform, right? We now come from the same level as here, right? This was in June 2023. June 2023, guys, it was here. This was basically the bear market low. We are now coming from that level ratio-wise. You might feel like, yeah, but the prices are now higher, right? Yeah, but there's also more money in the market right now. So in ratio, we can get the same kind of pump. It's really, really, really insane what's going to happen, I think. And I think that a lot of people are kind of underestimating how big it could get, actually. So, not to mention, again, if the money flows from BTC into alts, and again, the Fed is kind of saying like, yeah, that will happen. Every single chart is saying it will happen. The sentiment was screaming it will happen. I mean, again, if people are saying like, oh, crypto banter was calling it, yeah, then the sentiment is bad, guys. I don't know, but sorry, shots fired. But it's what it is, right? And overall, if you look at another chart, by the way, the Ethereum dominance. What's the biggest altcoin out there? ETH, right? People saying ETH is dead. maybe. Or maybe this is the best buying opportunity that you get for ETH, right? That's also the possibility. Because if you look at how Ethereum is dominating, yeah, if anything, it's ranging, right? And it came from the top of the range, and it's now sitting at the low of the range. And the last time it was there was, January 2020, right? January 2020. What did ETH do since January 2020? Well, yeah, it kind of went from $130 to like almost 5,000, right? It 30x. I'm not saying it will 30x from this place, but we're sitting at the same ratio when it comes to the dominance for Ethereum right now, right? Plus, again, if you overlay the total crypto market, in January 2020, there was $230 billion in the crypto market, right? Now there's 3 trillion, right? So if anything, yeah, ETH can do really fucking well because there is a lot more money right now. And the ratio, again, is sitting at the same level. So if this is going up here, then whoa, holy shit, dude. 20%. 20% dominance for ETH. Let's say the market is at 5 trillion by then. Whatever, it's now at 3, like, let's be a little cautious, right? Let's say 5. 20%. Dude. It's $1 trillion market cap already, right? ETH is now sitting at 225 billion. So that's a 5x for ETH. And again, that's not a fat bull case. That's just going back to the top side of the range, right? That's all it is, right? It's not a breakout or anything. It's not an ETH season. It's just going down, and up again. That's it. So as you see, like, it takes nothing to pump certain coins. Nothing. Now, when can we expect this? Oh, one more chart, by the way. Like, I can throw you dead with all these charts, but they're all confirming each other. It's so cool, right? Like, this is the Bitcoin dominance, Ethereum dominance, and stablecoin dominance. So it's basically the entire dominance of the market, excluding alts. Look how high this is sitting. Could it go here? Could it have a wick like this? Yeah. But overall, if this is kind of the range, and let's delete this for now to make it more easy to read, right? If this is like the top side of the range and this the downside, every blind hawk, right, can see that there is way more downside than upside for this. In other words, this going down is alt season. This is literally where alts start to dominate more. Yeah, again, if this was a coin, I would not be longing this. Would you? Right? I don't think so. And if the answer is no, then you're basically saying like alt season is probably happening. Right? That's all this is. Some people feel like it's been taking longer than normal, and therefore it's not going to happen. I must say it's not really taking longer than normal. In the middle of it, it does feel like it's taking longer than normal. Then again, if you look like, hey, here we topped out in the last alt season, and here we really started to go up. Like here we started to go up and it went down again, and here we really started to go up, right? If you look how long that was, we were going down for 1,060 days, right? It's not that much longer this time, right? 1,200 days. It's like, and in a 4-year cycle, that's not a big difference, right? And this alt season even started in January 2021. The alt season in 2017 started in March, right? So that was even compared to 2017, we are not even that different. So that's kind of crazy. Now, it's not necessarily about making money with Altseason. It's about making Bitcoin. Because if you can name one altcoin that you're comfortable holding right now for the next 10 years, let me know. But I don't think that altcoin actually exists if you want to look at it really unbiasedly, right? But with Bitcoin, I will feel pretty comfortable. So actually the goal should be Bitcoin. right? And in the one very brief moment of the market where you want to be in altcoins, where they outperform hard. So step in alts, ride it up, and put it back into BTC, right? Unless you think like, oh, Bitcoin is going into bear market, I don't want to risk it. Put it in dollars for a year, whatever, and then go buy back Bitcoin. But that's kind of how you want to play that game, right? All the altcoins that I have right now, I think they're fantastic. Will they still be around in 10 years? I fucking doubt it, right? Like, probably not. But it doesn't matter. I don't plan on holding them for 10 years, right? I want to make more with it right now. Now, again, is it too late to step on that train? Well, I don't know. Look where the chart is sitting. If anything, it's still too early, right? I expected alt season a little sooner because of the seasonality. Yeah. Oh, a little later, I guess, right? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. It depends, man. You have more time to prepare. And I know that people are sick of preparing. Like, yeah, you want to get the rewards right now. I get it. Definitely, me too. But if you are confident enough that it's going to happen anyway, then does it really matter, though? I don't know. Everything is showing that alts are going to outperform. Even if you look at Ethereum on its Bitcoin pair, right? Hey, it broke this. Fine. We have horizontals, right? And the horizontal, hey, it has been bouncing there. And again, on the weekly time frame, it is now pointing up. Everything that you want to go up in order for an alt season is now just starting to go up on like the big time frames, right? So whatever happens tomorrow or next week doesn't matter. This is for coming months. It shows like, ooh, here's 5% of what could happen. And we are already seeing 2-3x's on some coins, on coins that you don't need to take a lot of risk with, right? And every single chart looks like that. Now, if we look at one really important indicator for alt season, again, we saw that the people that are here, they weren't that confident, right? They were pretty bearish. Cool. That's a big check that we need, right? That's completely what we needed. Thanks for that, right? But are there a lot of people here? Yeah, maybe 5. Like, if you look at the social metrics, the YouTube viewers, etc., look how low this is. Bro, again, we already see alts 2-3x while there is nobody here. So if a couple people manage to pump quite relative high caps with 2-3x, then what do you think is going to happen whenever there's a lot of people stepping in? And people might say, too many coins, liquidity gets spread out too much. One, these coins are dead already. It's all Solana bullshit scam coins, right? But two, apparently, it is not spread out too much, right? Otherwise, you won't see a pump like this, right? Or a pump like this, or a pump like this, right? Like, we don't even have people here and it already pumps like that. What do you think is going to happen when actually people step in? There's always a counter argument you can make, like, yeah, well, what's going to make people step in? Again, QT would help, right? People can take loans. Again, they can take, more risk. There's more money, M2 going up. The macro is just looking better. People can gamble again. That's what they like to see crypto as, which actually is, right? Like, they can gamble again. That. And also what I showed on the channel, whenever things are low, people don't like it, right? Whenever something is cheap, people be like, nah, it can be good. People only want to buy whenever prices are high. That's what it is. It's stupid, but it works like that, right? What do you think what happens when people look at this and be like, oh, the pump's actually sustainable. Let's buy more, more, right? It goes up even further. FOMO kicks in for the rest of the people that are here. Fuck, let me buy. It's going back to cycle highs. Buy. It's there before you know it. And then people from the outside, somehow it gets the attention. It makes all the headlines, right? Like, oh, this altcoin did a 5x. You're a dead grandmother stepping out of a grave like, what? I need to buy this crap, right? And then you will see this going up, right? When did this in the last cycle really start to go up? really sustainably, making new highs. We had these peaks here, like we had here and here. When it's a new high, like in end of December 2020, give or take, right? How did the altcoin market look by the end of December 2020? Here, right? Was making new highs. And we had a peak, and another peak. But when we really broke above it and was making new highs, that's where people felt like, okay, let me take a look what's going on. Right? Peak, not interesting enough, not spectacular enough yet. Right? And when there was really a lot of people in that first, like, was the end of February, like 2021, right? What was that? End of February was here when we broke new all-time highs. And that causes that domino effect. It makes headlines. Altcoins making new all-time highs. Everything is going up. Everything is going 100x. You stupid. From this point, going 100x? No, from this point it will. But here you didn't want to buy. Right? And therefore I'm so fucking proud of this community, man. Because most people that I see these comments from, I know you guys by now, right? Like you were here as well. You were here. These are actually the people that can make a lot of money, not the people that buy whenever we are here somewhere, right? But you'll notice that this is where the people step in. So overall, alt season is basically one, big domino effect, right? And what do we need? One altcoin blowing up, one, big altcoin like ETH, for example, and what could cause it? People will look at news like, oh, what kind of news do we need? Do we need news though? We are here, right? This is probably the sign. We'll see what the news is going to be, but we're going up and we'll see what the news is going to be that makes it go up, right? But could be anything. Could be the stop of QT. It could be an insane crypto game catching the headlines, a new layer one that solves everything. Like I can name 1,000 things, right? It doesn't even have to be that big. It just has to get the attention. And then everything starts, boop, going up. That's what it is. So when could we potentially see it? It's hard to tell, right? I do have a lot of arguments actually for why I think it might have already started right now, right? One argument is, again, if you look at the dominance for Bitcoin, it is flashing. It is saying like, get the fuck off of that Bitcoin dominance train. Like, again, doesn't matter what happens tomorrow. Like, if you look how on the big time frames, this is like, don't be there now, man. Right? So that's one. It at least is going to have such a, like, we are way more overbought than what we were over there, right? And this was the December run. Like, basically, this little shit piece of thing right here, right? At least going to have that. Again, Bitcoin dominance without stables. It's sitting, like, do I need to explain where it's sitting? Do I need to explain how this is looking? The dollar just pointing upwards again right now, coming out of something like that we haven't seen in this whole cycle so far, right? Others dominance now pointing upwards, coming from a double bottom, right? Last time it pointed upwards was basically here. This point right here, what was that? Oh, the December run again, right? Okay, the time before that, oh, it was here. When the freaking bear market ended and we stepped into the bull market for the first time this cycle, right? It's now coming from the same exact place. Again, the risk levels for the Bitcoin dominance should be enough. The charts are saying there's a very good chance that it's happening now, right? There's a good chance. The logic is saying maybe not that fast, right? Maybe the charts are doing this in anticipation towards the fact that people speculate on QT ending next week, which might not happen next week, right? And then it might look like this, where it goes down a little further before we do get it, right? Taking people off guard. Again, the bears they got off guard. However, the bulls, it's maybe a little too easy right now. Maybe the bulls need a headwind before we can get it. Maybe. Then again, maybe there are not a lot of bulls out there. And the people that do believe in this are the few people that make it right now. Like the few people that made it back in 2017 in the bull market when coins got wrecked with 99%, and there I decided to buy it to make a freaking 1500x on a relative high cap coin, right? But you do need to realize that people have been calling it a bear market. It's not a bear market, right? Like if you look at Bitcoin, yeah, I don't know who the fuck calls this a bear market, right? For altcoins, this is a bear market, right? This is not a bear market. This is a bull market with just bull market corrections, like we always have, right? Like here the bull market started as well in 2020, 19, 18. And here, this for me, this is the bull market, right? From this to the peak. And whatever happens in the meantime, yeah, whatever, man. Right? Like in that case, bear market, bull market, bear market, bull market, bear market. Nah. Zoom out, right? So overall, I don't know if you were expecting a date from me in a certain time, like in 5 minutes, Altseason will start. I don't have that, right? And if anybody tells you that they know, they're an idiot. You should block them because I don't know. But all I do know, does it matter? Does it matter, man, if it happens today or next month or in 2 months? It's this period, right? Where you are still at the lows, but everything is saying we are going higher, right? So who cares? Who really cares? So the money flow is going to be really interesting again. If you look at the total crypto market, we are sitting at the exact same point as where we were sitting in 2021, right? But if you overlay certain alts, like I think AVAX had a little later a run. Well, not really. If you overlay AVAX at that time, was sitting at higher than where it is right now, obviously, right? But now it's lower. So it does show like, hey, we only need the money to flow. We don't even need new money. With this current market cap, alts can go here. That's what we saw here, right? And of course, we're going to get more money in crypto because that's what fucking dollars are. They are inflationary pieces of shit that get printed and then people put it into the crypto market, right? So the money flow can get a lot better, right? Like that's obvious. But the money coming from outside of crypto into crypto, that can also get a lot better. And that combination, in my opinion, is going to cause, an epic run. And in the meantime, can the Bitcoin dominance go a little higher than this? I mean, it has been going higher than this. So of course it can go higher than this, right? Obviously. But betting on it to maybe go, 1.5% higher, whatever, against that, it's probably at least going to tank with 25%. That seems like a ridiculous bet at this moment to take to me. Like very straightforward. So yeah, sorry, long video. I know it's always, I try to make it shorter, but it is what it is. But I just want to make sure that people are prepared and they understand what I try to say, at least. I'm not saying that I have the answers, but sometimes things are not that hard. And I feel like this is all getting pretty obvious to me. So, that's it for today, guys. I just want to leave it here. Thanks for watching. Also, if you like the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. Check out the Alpha Factory down below for exclusive stuff, one-on-one calls with me. I don't know why I'm still talking though. Everybody has fucking exited this video already. I can see it in the analytics. Nobody cares at the end. So I can do some stupid shit right now. Oh, fuck it. Bye.